but were surrounded by naysayers and surrounded by people who do nothing but bring up obstacles and hurdles under the guise of being a good friend, under the guise of, I'm just helping you. I wouldn't be a good friend if I didn't tell you this. Now, here's the difference. If you present someone with a problem, offer them at least one solution with it. And that's the difference. Welcome to The Bear Perspective. I'm Bear Malik. I'm a student of life and I study psychology. I want to share with you some lessons and perspectives that I wish I could have learned a lot sooner in life. You don't know what success is until you know what the end goal is supposed to be. To be successful, many people just think, oh, I want to be successful. They'll say the words, but they won't necessarily know the meaning behind the words. How can you gauge your success if you don't know what your destination is? So first of all, to assess how friends can impact your success, you need to define what success looks like. For some people, it could be a clear destination. Success to me would mean I have a house, I have a car, I have a stable job, I have all sorts of things. For some others, it could be that I'm not failing at life, that I'm not homeless, I'm not struggling to pay my bills or struggling to eat food every evening. For some people, success could just look like a degree, a certificate. It could be employee of the week or employee of the month. So, to understand how your friends would impact your success, you first need to understand what success looks like. You need to understand the destination that you're aiming for before you assess whether you're successful or not, or whether you're on your way to becoming successful, or whether you're even pointing in the right direction. Some people's success could be Everest. They climb to the top of the mountain, plant their flag, take a picture just to say, I did it. I powered through, I took every step up that mountain in the cold blizzard, and I made it, and I survived. For some, it could be the years they endure and invest in themselves to study to get a qualification. Just having the qualification under their belt could be the marker of success that they're looking for. Okay, so now friends. Or let's open it up a bit more. It's the people that you choose to surround yourself in. How do they impact your success? Now, if you look at generally successful people, and when I say successful people, you could definitely see the people that you look up to, or the people that other people look up to. Some of them you may like, some of them you may not like. And even the ones that you don't like have something in common. They could be a complete imbecile, but still be successful. They could be incredibly smart and still be successful. And it's true for the other way around as well. They could be incredibly smart and still not succeed. There's plenty of people that are incredibly intelligent, incredibly capable, but struggle to find success in their lives. And then you find, I'll use an example, a YouTuber, an incredibly famous YouTuber with an unfathomable amount of followers. To them, that might be their success. To a few out there, they might view them as being successful. But what's the common factor between the successful and the ones that aren't as successful? It's the people that they surround themselves in. Now, one commonality that I've observed is successful people tend to have a very good support system in place. It could be their parents, it could be their family, their partner, it could be a very good set of friends that have been very carefully curated. It could, if you're looking at business, it's those business owners that have surrounded themselves with experts in the fields upon whom they can rely. And even the ones that seem to have nothing great or nothing exceptional that you can clearly pinpoint is the root of their success. Part of the reason is that part of the reason to their success is that they have surrounded themselves with a really strong support system. Now, what do I mean by that? If you look at, this is going to go back a while, Justin Bieber. You may love him or you may hate him. There's definitely two camps out there. It wouldn't be too far off to say that he's a successful artist. You may or may not like his music. You may or may not like his opinions, his attitude, whatever. But he had a very supportive family behind him, who encouraged him, who helped him navigate what he needed to navigate to get to where he is today, or wherever he was 10 years ago. And there's newer examples. Even if you look at some of the most ridiculed actors or artists or businessmen out there, they're still successful to a degree. And they seem to have either a partner who helps them, supports them, guides them. They have family, they have parents, they have business partners who will help them navigate that journey to success. So how do you make sure that you've got a good support system in place? How do you make sure you have the right type of friends? How do you make sure you're surrounding yourself with good people? First thing I would say is look for people who celebrate even your smallest of wins. They don't seem to show any jealousy. They don't seem to belittle or mock. They don't make little of your win. They will celebrate it as much as one of your largest wins. And they are genuinely happy for you. Which is why in many of these cases, you see very supportive mothers, very supportive parents in general, who help these successful people grow. As soon as they have made a small incremental win or small step in the direction to success, that is celebrated. That celebration is reinforced in you. That every time I do something good, it is celebrated with me, alongside me. I am lifted up higher. The ones who mock, the ones who make little, the ones who get jealous, the ones who pull the energy away from you, are the ones that shouldn't really surround you if what you're looking for is your own success. You have some friends who you've known pretty much all your life. And they are what you would consider a friend. And being a friend, you don't want to leave them. You don't want to remove them from your life. And that's not necessarily what I'm saying. Don't have to remove someone entirely. But reinforce your own good behavior. If you have a friend who will celebrate your success with you, share your success with them. Tell them about the little win that you've had. But if you have a friend who doesn't necessarily share your success, why would you share with them something that they will belittle? Why would you share with them anything that would be mocked? Unless you're self-sabotaging. So when you meet someone that you feel like you would like them in within your circle of friends, because you see that person being part of the support system that will help you get to where you are, you can't necessarily force them to stay within your circle. They must be invited in, then they must willingly accept being invited in. And when they do come into it, you lean on them. Share your successes, share your burdens. Now here's the thing. You don't want to go down the route of rumination, and you don't want to be the one who is always bringing up the negatives and your struggles in your life. Because that can get very tiring for a friend very quickly. And they may not want to be in your circle of friends. They may not want you in their circle of friends. So try not to ruminate too much, excessively. If you have a problem that you need help navigating, bring it up and ask for the help to navigate that problem. If you're having success, bring that up, talk to them about it, allow them to celebrate and reinforce that within you. And that will give you the confidence and the momentum to keep going. There's many people out there, including myself, who had many, many dreams and goals in the future that they wanted to achieve and meet, but were surrounded by naysayers and surrounded by people who do nothing but bring up obstacles and hurdles under the guise of being a good friend, under the guise of, I'm just helping you. I wouldn't be a good friend if I didn't tell you this. Now here's the difference. If you present someone with a problem, offer them at least one solution with it. And that's the difference. If you have a friend who will tell you, hey, let's assume you want to become an actor. You want to submit this take for this role that's coming up, but it needs to have a white backdrop. And as a friend, you could be like, well, you don't really have a white backdrop. Is it worth doing it? Because I don't think your video is going to look too great. Or what do they call it? It's an audition tape of some sort, right? Your audition won't look too great because you haven't got a white wall, or you haven't got a white background. And they leave it at that. That is their sabotage done, committed. Whereas, let's say the helpful mother, the supporting parent would be like, well, we haven't got a white wall, but how about I take out one of the white bed sheets and drape them over this, and that can be your backdrop for your audition tape. It's up to you then whether you want to take that solution or not, or if you can come up with a better one. And you can then say, well, I think it would be better if I went to my friend Dave's house and I filmed it in his living room. Now, your supportive friend in that case will be, excellent idea, let's do that. Whereas you have another friend who has done nothing but present you with a problem with no solution, and whether intentionally or not, with the hopes that you won't go through with it. And that's how you can identify a supportive friend. Someone who wants to support you will actually support you by offering you good, positive suggestions and finding avenues for you to navigate to help you succeed. Now, on the other hand, and this goes especially for those people who seem successful, but seem to constantly get themselves into trouble, let's say. And there's many, many reasons, but when we're speaking specifically about how friends impact your success, or the people that surround you, you've got the yes man. The people who will orbit your surrounding to do nothing but to blindly agree with what you want to do. They won't necessarily push back. They won't necessarily offer any avenues forward. They may do occasionally, but most often not, they won't. But if you have an idea and they blindly agree without reining you in, and that's when you get people like Charlie Sheen back from his Tiger Blood days. More recently, I think he's settled down a bit, but that's how you get those YouTubers like Logan Paul. For those of you who don't know, he made some very questionable decisions, or he has made some very questionable decisions throughout his YouTube career. And a lot of them, from my observation, seem to be stemmed from him being surrounded by yes men. Ones who don't necessarily disagree and don't push back and tell him he may be in the wrong or may not be in the wrong. And then eventually, once they have found what they believe to be success, if they do get someone around them who is willing to push back, willing to raise concerns, willing to address an issue that is coming up, the delusions of grandeur make him deaf and blind to the naysayers, and they immediately remove them from within their circle because they are constantly putting up hurdles for them. So it's a fine balance, learning the friends who are genuine naysayers, who will belittle, discredit, or just put up hurdles for the sake of putting up hurdles under the guise of friendship and support, against someone who's going to offer you support and friendship and say, here is a hurdle, here is one way you can navigate this hurdle. If here's another way you can navigate this hurdle. And it's up to you to take it or not. It's up to you to come up with an alternative solution if you don't like the response, or if you don't like the path that was laid out in front of you. So slowly remove the friends that aren't going to help lift you up to what you deem is your success. And hold close and hold dearly those who will support you, those who will help you navigate, those who will say no to you. You do not want a yes man surrounding you, because you will do nothing but go blind to the truth and grow completely delusional within your own concept of how you should be navigating the world. And that will form a form of narcissism that doesn't really appeal to anyone's personality, doesn't really work with the rest of the world. And if one of your goals is to cohabitate with the rest of the world and stay within this bigger society, that type of narcissism is, or that type of self-importance is what will quickly remove you from society. That's how and why the general public eventually think of the artists or the famous people that everyone likes or everyone dislikes. They agree with their opinions, disagree with their opinions, they agree with their actions, they disagree with their actions. So it depends on what you deem as your success. If you don't care what the rest of the world thinks, then power to you. But at some point, the world is going to be there for you, or you're going to need the world to be there for you. And in that moment, if you don't care what they think, that's when you won't necessarily get the help that you want or need from many, many different perspectives. And again, success isn't necessarily a final goal that you've set in the near future, distant future, or otherwise. Success could just look like you not failing, you being able to achieve what you deem is the minimum requirement for you to be successful. At the end of the day, to be successful is to find happiness, and happiness is what we're all striving for. But what you also have to remember is that happiness and success is found within the actual journey to the end goal, not at the end goal. So suffering for years, decades, for a goal that you think might make you happy may not make you happy, but make sure the journey that you're going on is keeping you happy, is meeting your needs psychologically, philosophically, spiritually, religiously, or otherwise. So find your goal. Once you've found your goal, you have laid out a path to your success, and invite people along that journey. The ones that get in your way, stop inviting them. They can still follow, they can still be around you, but stop inviting them to take the next step with you. But the ones that do support you, the ones that look out for the hurdles ahead, the ones that point out alternative paths for you to take, keep them close. Keep them within earshot. Keep them within arm's length. They're the ones that will help you succeed. They're the ones that will help you get to your goal. And enjoy the journey. And have a bit of a laugh. Because we all need a bit of a laugh with our friends. So I think that would be a good one to add. Make sure one of your friends at least has a common sense of humour with yours. Someone you can let down your hair with, and someone you can just let loose, forget about the worries of the day, and just do nothing but make each other laugh.